Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 5WC. Say, we've got an exciting one. China team that just come off a tough 5-3 loss against Canada in the winners bracket, facing off against Kazakhstan, a team dropping to the losers bracket in the early rounds. Now finding a nice win over Malaysia, trying to do the same against China today. I'm MyFlame, joined by Lighten. How are things going? Talk to me
Good
about this
morning,
matchup.
everyone. Yeah, hello, everyone. We have quite an exciting match today, China versus Kazakhstan. In all honesty, it does seem like China is the clear favorite here, but you kind of have to still take Kazakhstan into consideration. They still are a pretty scary roster. There's an upset potential in this match 100%, especially on the stamina and speed picks. But you still got to consider that a lot of Chinese players are pretty good at speed as well. So this is gonna be I'm quite excited to cast this. Obviously, looking at my boys in Kazakhstan, I'm gonna be know the players quite well. Not so much about the Chinese players, but they're really good. I've seen some of them, and I did do a little bit of research, so I'm excited to cast this one. I flame.
I am too. We've got a hidden one ban coming out from China. And this is, I feel like, in my opinion, a little bit of a rough matchup for Kazakhstan because, as you mentioned, both these two teams are incredibly good at speed. If you look back to qualifiers, the DTs were China's best skill set by far. And I feel like when you have these teams matching their skill sets, it always favors the team that is stronger on paper. I feel like we tend to see upset. We have mismatching skill sets that the lower seed teams can take advantage of. So we'll see what Kazakhstan can do here if they find any picks outside of the speed. I did notice they looked really good on the anti-mod pick last week. Maybe that's something they can look to, as we're going to get a DT3 ban to follow it up, unsurprisingly. Protects on the screen as well, DT2 for China, hidden 3 for Kazakhstan. I think pretty telling as for what these two teams are looking to pick. Really, China is looking to pick tapping, DTs, anything speedy. I think Kazakhstan is going to look to pick some of those more hidden, some more potentially flow aim, and potentially some low AR. So you could look towards the no mod 6, towards the free mod 2 even. But we'll see what they opt into, as it looks like we've got a Hard Rock 2 ban now for China.
We do get a Fremont 2 ban instead for Kazakhstan. As you mentioned prior, they did play Fremont 2 quite well last week, so this ban is a little surprising. What I'm also really surprised about is the Protect on Hidden Free, because historically, our Kazakhstan is not really well known for their tech, but I guess they are feeling confident, and the first pick is going to be on China, and I guess we might see DT2 straight off the bat, unless they want to go for something else, for another speed map. Which is, to be fair, probably going to be either no mod 5. No mod 2 is a possibility as well, but this is going to be more flow oriented, and we do get a DT2 pick instead, which is going to be their own Protect. So
yeah, I think
expected.
Oftentimes when you see the Protect format, it comes with 2 rounds of bans. You get your first phase of bans, a couple of maps, and then your second phase of bans, which does add some strategy to it. But when you just have protected at 2 bans, there's not really much reason into holding your protected pick. You can pick that right away pretty safely. And this DT2, of course, is going to be on the speedier side, 261 BPM. Definitely a map that's going to favor the Chinese team here.
100%. I feel like Kazakhstan can still contest this pick a little bit, but it does lean towards China quite heavily, especially considering the ban from Kazakhstan on DT free. But yeah, the Chinese roster is really scary on tapping. Kazakhstan's also, but in comparison, China is a clear favorite on this map. I would imagine that we will see Hahahami fairly soon in the lobby from Kazakhstan side, as well as either Amichka and probably maybe Argentum. But yeah, China, 3 of the players are already in the lobby: Sana Chitose, Shigeru Rino, and Inu Isana. And I guess we're gonna wait until the rest are gonna join.
Yeah, waiting for a few more players on both sides, as the Kazakhstan is second to figure out their roster. Off course is going to be subbing in. Looks like just Roxy might be sitting this one out for Kazakhstan.
Probably. They're not really well known for their speed, so it makes sense that they would probably sitting this one out. And yeah, waiting for Bancho for a few players to join in, but I would imagine, yeah. Kazakhstani internet, it's emotional, really.
It's a classic.
Indeed. I mean, today's a national holiday actually for Kazakhstan, so probably the players hopefully are in a good mood to play the match. They have like, yeah, I think like we are chilling up until like Tuesday or Wednesday. The national holiday is like pretty lengthy on this one.
Oh, nice. Yes, always nice to get some time off, maybe a bit of extra time to practice. And I want to keep an eye on Nuisana and Shigure Reno. Those are the two players that had some really good scores on the qualifier DT2, getting second and fourth respectively. And so those are the two players you're going to look to for China to put up these big combos. Not sure we're going to see matching on Kazakhstan, but off course, Hami, Argentum, and Kopog. It's going to be off course with the first miss. Everybody else holding strong so far, but this map does take a little bit to get into things, and we're going to see as the map drains on, the player staminas are going to start to drain as well as the second miss comes out from Kazakhstan before the break.
Oh, that was a banter break actually. There's no breaks here. Yeah, and these combo advantage is on Kazakhstan side, but it's not really helping with their accuracy as both off course and Argentum. Actually also Jaime are not looking good on the accuracy department, slowly building them up on the slow section. But China are looking quite comfortable as we are transitioning into the first PI now.
Yeah, but it is still 3 FCs to 3. Make that 3 FCs to 2. So Kazakhstan actually going to have a chance to potentially take this lead back. The problem is they're down on so much accuracy that even with this extra full combo, it's going to take so long to go back over. So they desperately need to hold on to these combos. They can definitely combo game this map, but that's another miss from off course. As long as they hold these 3 FCs, they have a chance to come back. They can't really afford many misses.
Exactly, there's 2 FCs on the Chinese side. Shigeru Uno looking comfortable with 97.4% accuracy. The second, the highest accuracy in the lobby actually, and his teammate KND also on the FC, 95% accuracy, looking good so far as we are on the second KI now. Still 3 FCs on Kazakhstan. It's actually not shifting, it's pretty stagnant here, but Kopog miss is gonna kill their dreams of this DT2 victory, especially Hami, and of course missing once again to the only FC in the lobby for Kazakhstan, matched by 2 Chinese FCs, and by the looks of it, there's no way that Kazakhstan are going to be able to take this pick to themselves.
Yeah, it looked a little dicey in the start, but China recovered nicely with their 2 big combos. Kazakhstan unable to hold on, and China going to take a very decisive first pick. Looks like they're going to be winning this one by over 700,000 points, and now it's up to Kazakhstan to fire back with a pick of their own.
Yeah. The accuracy on Kazakhstan is probably the main factor that did not help them at all, of course, with the C rank here. 84% Argentum FC. This is an FC with 84%. That is something to note here. But yeah, in general, not looking so comfortable on the speed here. China taking their first point, their protect to themselves. It's now going to be Kazakhstan's turn to pick, and they might go for their own protect, which was Hidden 3. I could also imagine them picking Nomad 6 and Hidden 2. Hidden 2 in particular was played in Kazakhstan's 5WC tryouts last year, so some players are going to be familiar with this.
Yeah, in fact, they might already have some scores from these players on that specific map. But I do think it makes sense to pick your protect again, since we don't have a second phase of bans. There's not really any need to hold that. There are some definitely strategy arguments where you could hold on to it for later in case you're down a few points and want to get some momentum back, but I think it's not super consequential either way. It is nice for Kazakhstan that they do have some options in the Hidden 2, Nomad 6, Hidden 3, so I think once they kind of go through those potentially low AR maps, the pick strategy gets a lot more difficult for Kazakhstan, but at least to start off, they should have a bit of an easier time.
Yeah, it's always nice to have some sort of picks to fight with. The issue is that China are also quite good in low AR, so I could honestly kind of see that they can still win Nomad 6 and Hidden 2, but still on paper, I feel like this is leaning towards Kazakhstan like 60 to 40. We do get a Nomad 3 pick, actually. This is going to be your alternate map this time around. Unexpected, really. 137 BPM. This map is going to be quite lengthy. A lot of aim control, 3 minutes and 21 seconds long, so... not the pick I would expect from them, but I can kind of see the vision.
Yeah, both teams. I mean, neither team looked especially good on ultimately the qualifiers. Actually, both teams I think had very similar scores on the alt pick. So I could see this one going well for Kazakhstan. Evidently, they feel comfortable on the map, and they do opt to save their protected map for later, which is certainly not a bad call. And I have to imagine we're going to see some much different rosters this time around. Looks like one roster change for China, and currently one for Kazakhstan as well, unless we see Roxy switching out. But this map, 130 BP, 7 BPM, pretty comfortable, I think, for most players. And this map is going to be a bit more of a consistency test at 3 minutes and 21 seconds. So it's all about who can survive those key ice sections.
Pretty much. And the key ice on this one are quite brutal. The contrast between the slow sections is quite big, especially with the aim control patterns in this one. And we do see KND also joining in, so there's going to be 2 changes in the Chinese lineup for this map. We also see Roxy subbing in. The other 3 players are the same for Kazakhstan. I'd honestly expect to see maybe Amishka for this one, but I guess they are absent maybe. But nonetheless though, 4v4, the good lucks are in the chat, and we are moving into Domont 3, your alternate aim controlling map, which is honestly quite flowy as well. But yeah.
Yeah, in these 8 versus 8 team sizes, always a chance players are unavailable, so maybe the case, but we might not know till a bit later in the match. And here we go into the Nomad 3, China with a very good, strong early point. Kazakhstan need to get one back now. It's only best of 11. You can't really afford to give up too many break points, especially when you are the lower seeded team. It gets so much tougher to get those back in the end, but we've already got a full team reset for Kazakhstan, and they're not off to a great start.
That is a really tough start here, especially with the Chinese accuracy on this one. 2 SSs so far, actually one of them dropping, one of the combos dropping as well for KND, but the AC advantage and the overall combo advantage is apparent, with another miss from, of course, Kopok and Hahami. This is not looking good at all. The highest combo in the lobby for Kazakhstan is just Roxy, but there's still 3 FCs on China, 2 of them dropping. Now it's just Shiguru, you know, a pretty big chain miss as well for Quite 27. But still, this is not looking good for the team on the right. China are going to be running away with the score.
Yeah, if there was anywhere on the map to find a full team reset, it would be at the start, so not going to be the end of the world for Kazakhstan, but they certainly have some catching up to do. We do see that last FC fall off from China as Shigure finds a miss, as does KND, so now it is Kazakhstan who have that combo advantage by a decent margin. They should be able to claw their way back, but yet again, just like we saw in the last map, those accuracies really holding them back. Here we go into the key eyes. There's going to be a trade of misses for both teams. Keep an eye on just Roxy. That's the combo that really matters for Kazakhstan. The one that needs to hold is another miss for China, and Kazakhstan should be able to bring this one back if they can hold these combos a little bit longer.
Do see another miss from Kopak though. Just Roxy, pretty good combo on them, and a good recovery from Hahami. Oh, never mind. We're just gonna see all the combos dropping for all of these players. No combos whatsoever. It does favor China a little bit, but the supporting combos for Kazakhstan are gonna be higher, of course, with the highest combo now in the lobby, 220, looking to get this on his team's side, but the accuracy is not letting them get further into the right as we are transitioning through this slow section.
Yeah, despite getting themselves a pretty big combo advantage, it's not caught them up nearly enough. It is going to be a double miss from China. It is traded by, of course, but Kazakhstan, a small combo lead. They'll take what they get as a full reset now for China. Can Kazakhstan bring this one back? They need Kopog and Roxy to hold, but Kopog finds the miss. Now it's all on Roxy and 300 combo. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. There is still a quarter of the map left, and they do have it down to 60k. So this slowly going back in favor of Kazakhstan, but they need to keep playing well into his ending, and Roxy finds a devastating miss, as now combos are pretty even across the board.
I'd even honestly say that they're in favor of China. We do see Hahami and just Roxy dropping, and the overall combo advantages on Chinese side, especially now since we are transitioning into the slow part. There's not even enough time probably for Kazakhstan to come back from this. We might have to see a full combo reset for China for Kazakhstan to come back from this. But by the looks of it, both Quite 27 and Shiguru, looking quite good on this last EI. And the Kazakhstani team also looking to get some of those nice scores on this. Shigerino and Quite is going to be missing as well as Hahami, but Shigerino is holding on. Roxy is also missing. Of course, the highest combo, but there's not enough time, especially since the combo is being matched by Shigerino.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Kazakhstan, giving up an early breakpoint, have lost their first pick. Of course, they do still have their protected map, but never feels good. And China has a chance to make this one 3-0 with a pick of their own. And even though going down by 1 breakpoint is not the end of the world, it is so tough mentally to be down by 3. So we'll see if Kazakhstan can recover, as China still have no mod 5 open. They're going to go for... Okay, I thought that was a no mod 2 pick for a second. We'll probably get no mod 5 still.
Yeah, probably no mod 5. If not no mod 5, then maybe no mod 2
is also a good pick for them, to be honest. So
yeah,
either way.
Honestly though, no mod 5 is pretty much a no-brainer pick here. If they want to experiment, sure, they can go no mod 2. If they want to experiment, they can go with something else as well. But no mod 5 definitely one of the more safe picks for them, especially since that map is basically a classic. It has been pulled a lot in prior days. And we do see a no mod 6 actually.
Okay.
Unless it's a typo.
Yeah, not the direction I expected them to go, but you know, I guess if they do win this one, it does open them up to quite a few more picks. This will be an AR 7.5. If you manage to win the no mod 6 decisively, all of a sudden you can probably more comfortably pick things like the Hidden 2. The free mod 2 was banned by Kazakhstan, so definitely see the angle here from China. Not something they have played a ton, at least in qualifiers. They didn't have amazing scores on the Hidden 2. In fact, that was their worst skill set by far. But mind you, this is a no mod low AR, not hidden, so it is very different, and it's much easier to put a roster together for a low AR no mod map as opposed to a low AR hidden map.
Yeah, but you also got to consider the fact that this is a Depi Force map, so there's going to be a lot of gimmick elements to it, which might throw a lot of people off guard. I know for a fact that a lot of Kazakhstani players are not comfortable with this type of mapping at all, and usually when I pull this something like this for like Kazakhstani tournaments, they're like, "Dude, this is not a map. This is awful. You should not pull this." But oh well, I guess they'd have to at this point now.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have much choice at this point. They can only ban out so many maps. And they do need a breakpoint back at some point. I think generally you expect China's going to be pretty comfortable on their early picks. So more realistically, Kazakhstan will be looking at some of those later picks to get a breakpoint back. But anything could happen.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who can play this. Roxy is definitely one of those options. KND also joining in. It was a name change from Timuriel, I think. And we do see Emishka joining in for Kazakhstan. Actually, yeah, Kopak is going to be there. And yeah, my bad. KND is a Chinese player. My bad. In general, though, the Shigerino and Kwai are still going to be in the lobby for China. So 2 roster swaps for China and 1 for Kazakhstan. And we are starting off with this no mod 6, 2 minutes and 2 seconds long. So this is not going to be that long. Every combo is going to matter. And AR 7.5, this is not your AR 8 map. The reading is going to be a little more demanding with this.
It certainly is. It's the kind of map that it takes a lot of practice, but if you have put in the time to practice it, you can certainly put up a pretty good score on it, as we're going to see early misses all over the place. It's a pretty tough map. I think this is going to be a trend throughout this one. We're going to see continued misses, but as the kind of dust settles on the opening, we've got 2 big combos on the side of China, only 1 on the side of Kazakhstan, so they're not going to be too far behind, but unfortunately they've got 3 players that are currently chain missing, whereas KND is on a decent recovery. Okay, as I say that, it is 2 misses as the FCs from China drop off. Now, it is Roxy that you mentioned earlier, the only one holding any combo. KND not too far behind, so Kazakhstan aren't going to bring this one back super fast, but with that KND miss, this should go back slightly faster. Kazakhstan just need to find any combo on their other 3 players. It is kind of Roxy against the world right now.
Pretty much, and we do see a lot of chain misses, and also a few act drops here for Roxy, but Roxy, okay, finally finding a miss on this ladder. GXYTC, yeah, this long nickname is going to be the only one holding through this ladder. This section is not sparing anyone so far, as we are getting through that halfway point into the map, and there is no combos for Kazakhstan to match that player, as the advantage is going to be going further and further to China.
Yeah, Rux really needs to hold on through that section. Just doesn't have any support on this one, unfortunately, as the kind of three other players from Kazakhstan not finding any combo whatsoever. We do see misses from China as well, but they put in the work at the start of this map. They found the combo advantages early, built up a 150,000 point lead, and now all they have to do is match these Kazakhstan combos into the second half. They've been able to do that pretty effortlessly, and they're going to be taking a third point here.
Yeah. Honestly, a good attempt from Roxy. That's a pretty solid score. Probably the highest one in the lobby, actually, on this Nomad 6. But sadly, there was no support from the other few players from Kazakhstan. Nice try from them, though, as China are now getting their third point on the board. No answer from Kazakhstan so far. They need to get one as soon as possible, though, with their pick this time. And judging from how Nomad 6 went, I mean, there's still a possibility of Hidden 2. Hidden 2, I did see them play before, both on tryouts and in general. The map is actually made by a Kazakhstani mapper, so maybe they will go for this one. Maybe they will not. They could also go for their own protect, which was hidden free, which they might be confident on. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like at this point in the match, you kind of have to pick your own protect. Especially in best of 11, you can't really afford to go down by 2 breakpoints, especially against a team like China, who still have some very obvious picks left, looking towards the Nomad 5. Even the Nomad 2, you'd expect to be good for them, and so you need to stop the momentum if you're Kazakhstan, as well as just get some confidence back on your roster. And so I do expect them to go for the HD3. I could see them trying to save it, but I don't think there's any need to save it at this point.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good choice to pick Hidden 3 here. Might be Hidden 2 as well, but if you protected the map, you should probably pick it right now, because otherwise you're gonna have to pick it on match point. If you you lose this pick and then lose another map later on. So the minefield is there, and they need to figure out what to pick, and they have Hidden 3 as their pick now, finally picking their own protect. That map is going to be your flow tech map, mapped by Vispy. This is not going to be the OWC div for obvious reasons, but still a pretty tough map. A lot of flowy, aim control-y type of patterns. Not as similar to Nomad 3, but the vibes are still kind of similar.
Yeah, we'll see how this map goes for Kazakhstan. Of course, this is a vital one for them. If you lose on your protected map, it's probably just the end of the match. I think you're unlikely to recover from that kind of a deficit, especially with no obvious picks left. But if they win this one, maybe they can try picking the Nomad Tech map next. You know, maybe it'll help them find some direction, as we see the players filling in largely similar rosters. We're going to see YR Scarlet in for the first time in this match.
Yeah, it's currently quite quiet on the Kazakhstan side. They are a Chinese player, so probably China are figuring out their fourth player for this one, while Kazakhstan are trying to scramble for the fourth. Again, this is not the pick that I would expect from Kazakhstan, but pre-match at least. This is when I was thinking about what they could pick. Hidden 3 was not on my mind, but I guess it's the strategy that they have against China, which might work out. Nomad 3 was a pretty close goal. It was 70,000 difference, which was granted both teams got around 1.3 million in total. So you gotta take that and maybe improve on at this Hidden 3.
Yeah, Hiddens were China's worst skill set in qualifiers, so maybe that is their angle here. We'll see if they can finally get themselves a point off of this Chinese roster, or if China is just going to be steamrolling this match. And looks like off course back in for this one. Argentum, I think we've seen in the first map, but not since then, as it is going to be couple early, well actually I think missed on the very first note from off course, but that's not going to matter whatsoever. Now we got a couple of slider breaks, and that is a very tricky map, one that can definitely see one or two players make a big difference on if they can manage to put up big combos, but so far we've got a lot of misses. It is going to be Kazakhstan coming on top out of the intro, and so they're going to be holding on to this one full combo advantage. We'll see how long they can hold on to that advantage for. They are still down in points, but it is that last FC dropping from China. It is traded by Kazakhstan, and so not going to be able to retain that advantage. They do manage to skip the score lead ever so briefly. We'll see how long they can hold on to these combos. Keep an eye on Emo and GXY. GXY finds a big miss, and now Kazakhstan is going to have a chance to really run away with this one as we get into a bit of an easier section.
Yeah, the recoveries are looking good, of course, and are against him. They're fighting a miss, but it's not Amishka Pro nor Hahahami. They are looking really good on this. Not anymore, though, as the combo is now broken. Hahahami, the highest combo on Kazakhstan side, and the combo advantage is on China now. It's going to the left, but finally fighting a miss. The YR Scarlet. Now the highest combo is going to be Shiguru. No match by Hahahami. Not anymore. No matches whatsoever as China. The combos are dropping left and right, and the only combo is going to be GX. In this case, still on the Chinese, still in favor of China with a pretty good margin.
Yeah, but it's going to be a miss for GXY, so that combo drops off before China, and Kazakhstan are in the best spot they've been in so far in this match. They're down by 70,000. There's not really too much combo on China. I mean, there isn't on Kazakhstan either, but if they can have a better showing in the second half of this map, they certainly have the time to bring this one map. A third of the map to go. It's a very tricky section coming up. We'll see if anyone can hold on to these combos. A single player holding for Kazakhstan could be enough to swing the tide of this map. We do see a miss coming out from YR Scout. That's going to help a little bit. We do see the score lead dropping, but the question is, can they hold on to their combos? Emo finds the miss. Hahahami finds the miss as well. Things are starting to fall apart for Kazakhstan. It's all down to off course and Argentum. If either of them miss, it's probably going to be the end. We do see two misses for China. It's two big combos to one. Argentum does trade that back, and Kazakhstan is just not making the dent they need to. It's all on off course, but I don't know if there's going to be enough time, especially with GXY holding, and a miss from off course is going to do it. Kazakhstan going to give up a second break point. They're going to be down by 4, and unable to win their own protected pick is going to put them in a very rough spot.
That is really rough indeed. A good try for them. They did have some pretty good combos on this map. Both Amishka, of course, and Hahahami trying their best, but China doing exceptionally well on this hit in the Pisana Chitos, and GXY getting well over 350,000 score on this, which is honestly really good considering how hard this map is. Kudos for that. And with that, China are going to be taking their 4th point, looking to get a match point with their own pick on the next map. And we did mention Nomad 5 and Nomad 2 before, and honestly, the best time to pick it is probably going to be now.
Yeah, seems to be the most likely next pick for China. And I think the Nomad 2 is slightly risky. Kazakhstan did have solid scores on the kind of stream map in qualifiers, and the quarterfinals tends to be the most kind of closely matched in terms of difficulty. So I don't much. It seems like an unnecessary risk, especially when you're up to break points. I think they just go for the Nomad 5, keep pushing this score lead, see if they can get themselves a sweep. For Kazakhstan, I'm honestly not quite sure where you go next in terms of picks. The Hidden 3 obviously didn't work out. The Nomad 3 alt didn't work out either. And they don't have that Hidden 1 available, so maybe they could go for the Hidden 2, but they've lost Nomad 6. It becomes incredibly tricky to find a pick now.
They might want to go for Hard Rock 3 because Hard Rock 3 is also alternate and does have some aim control elements. It's going to be mainly flow though. So that may be something that might hinder them. But Hard Rock 3 is a possibility that, granted with how close Nomad 3 and Hidden 3 was. But we do get a Nomad 5 from China as we expected. A finger control, a speed map, Nano Death, a pretty classic one as well. Map by Isamir, going to be not quite lengthy, it's going to be around average in length, but definitely a really well-known map.
Yeah, this one is 240 BPM, so definitely speedy, but 20 BPM lower than the DT2. Maybe Kazakhstan will have a slightly easier time keeping up on that, but haven't been able to win one yet. They've certainly had some close maps, especially Hidden Pair we just saw played, but honestly, you got to find the breakpoints now. They need 2 breakpoints, and I mean, losing this one on match point just doesn't give you enough wiggle room to really make the comeback. So if they want to start the comeback, it's going to have to start now, but it's certainly going to be very tough on China's skill set by a pretty big margin.
Yeah, Kazakhstan are desperate for this pick because if they lose this one, China is going to be on match point and there's going to be no other chances for Kazakhstan to come back into this. Obviously, there's still a chance for a reverse sweep, but we all know how likely the reverse sweeps are. And it's going to be extremely tough to get a flawless run going from a score of 5-0. So they need this one. They really need this one. And I feel like there is a chance, although a very slim one, as we did see China doing exceptionally well on that DT2 that we've seen before. As we do see the rosters already ready here. Shigurino, Sana Chitosi, Mangit, and TMD for China. Mangit, they're making their first appearance on this match. As we do see Kopag, Amichka, Hahami, and of course, once again for Kazakhstan. And we are starting off with this map.
Let's see if Kazakhstan can get one back. I do hope they can for their sakes, but we'll find out in a minute and 49 seconds. I'm curious. I want to keep an eye on the accuracies for Kazakhstan because last time on the DT2, they were really far behind in accuracy, and it really cost them. Already down a fair bit of accuracy. Emo on 92. I mean, of course, has good accuracy, but pretty much everybody else on the team down around that 90% mark. Already quite concerning for Kazakhstan. They don't look particularly comfortable on the map. They've already dropped off 2 combos, whereas China still holding 2 SCs strong. Shure does drop some accuracy, but holds on to the combo. Not going to be the end of the world, and already quarter of the way through. They're up by 200,000 points, and Kazakhstan are not out of it. As long as they can hold on to these 2 FCs, they have good recoveries. We did see finally a miss from China, and so Kazakhstan need all of their combos, but they're far from out of this one.
Yeah, and another miss here from Hahami. The 2 FCs are still on the board. The 3 FCs are on China as we are approaching that halfway point. The advantage is still growing, and the accuracy is also in favor of the Chinese team here. Looking really good so far on this map. Doing pretty flawlessly on this, but of course, and Kopag are going to be the obstacles in their way by Kazakhstan. They need this. They need the misses from China to have any chances to come back on this one, but it doesn't look like China are going to miss. We are getting into the QI now, which might cause a few misses, but the only miss it caused was Hamahami so far. So not something that you want to see if you're rooting for Kazakhstan.
Oh, we do finally see one of those FCs drop, but it's not nearly going to be enough. That is an incredibly strong team score for China. They're going to put up over 3 million points on this one, and the Kazakhstan unfortunately not going to be able to keep up, and that is going to be match point despite very nice full combo from Kopag.
Yeah, again, they did FC, but the accuracy did not look that well for them.
Yeah, it's quite a few B ranks up against a whole lot of S ranks.
Yeah, and even the FC for Kopag is also would have been a B rank if there was a miss. So the accuracy is definitely leaning towards China by a pretty big margin on this one. But as we mentioned prior, China are now on the match point 5-0, and they do have the possibility to end this right here and right now. They have the guillotine, and Kazakhstan head is indeed there. So with this one, I think they might want to go for something like Nomad 2, as we mentioned. They could also go Hidden 2 if they really wanted to.
Yeah,
actually no, it's Kazakhstan's pick, my bad.
Yeah. I mean, there's that Hard Rock 3 you mentioned earlier, right? Otherwise, maybe they feel forced to pick Hidden 2. There are Free Mod 1 and Free Mod 3, but I'm not sure either of those necessarily favor Kazakhstan, so it's tough. Doesn't feel like there's any clear good pick for Kazakhstan, so they're going to take their time to decide on this one, and we'll see what they find here.
Yeah. Honestly, knowing them, they would probably choose Hidden 2, but there is also a good chance for a Hard Rock 3. It's either of these 2 maps. But I guess we'll see. And we do get a Nomad 2 instead, actually. Okay.
I see the angle. This was, the Nomad 2 was by far Kazakhstan's best score in the qualifiers. They were 7th overall on the pick. China was only, okay, China was 5th actually, so maybe a quite scary pick into China, but I think at this point, if you're Kazakhstan, I have to imagine you're just picking whatever map you have the best chance of putting up high scores on, and I hope China gets some unlucky misses. That's kind of all you can do at this point in the match.
Yeah, pretty much. And I guess the main wild card here is going to be Emo, otherwise known as Imishka Pro. It's their main skill set, and they've been really good at this skill set in particular. So we're most likely going to see them here for Kazakhstan. But China, once again, is looking dominant, 5-0. The only close two maps were Nomad Feet and Hidden Feet, both on that aim control element. But the situation is looking dire as Kazakhstan's head is now in guillotine, and all China has to do is to pull the trigger. But by the looks of it, Kazakhstan are willing to fight, and I'm liking this. They need to fight on this one.
Yeah, of course. Do you guys believe in the comeback from 5-0? I can't say that I do, but I'm glad there's still some hope left on the Kazakhstan roster. I mean, this is 50 BPM lower than the Nomad 5, 70 BPM lower than the DT2, so maybe at these lower BPMs, Kazakhstan can keep up with the tapping from China, but tapping, very much China's best skill set has been all tournament, and this could just be China closing it out. Good luck, have funs in the chat, as we have tapping rosters for both teams. Don't think there's any surprises in terms of rosters here.
Indeed, we do get more good lucks here, some rolls here and there, as well as we are still waiting for it to load into the map. Hopefully we're going to be there soon. In comparison to GT2s and Nomad 5s, Nomad 5, GT2 was more of a regular speed check, and so was Nomad 5, but adding a little bit of finger control into that, just 20 BPM lower. This one, it does focus on flow aim, while still having that tapping element, and there's also a few sliders that are quite tricky, but nothing too out of the ordinary, as we are now shutting off of the map. Now here come the streams, here comes the spacing, and no misses so far at the intro. The accuracies are also looking good for both of these teams.
Yeah, this one is 3.5 minutes, so it can be potentially stamina intensive if you're not super comfortable on the map, but shouldn't be too bad in terms of stamina for anyone. And we can see already most players have pretty good accuracy. It is really Wire Scarlet, the only one struggling in terms of accuracy, has been the only one to find the early miss, and so I think it's likely going to be up to the other 3 players on China to pull this one through, as Roxy, unfortunately for Kazakhstan, does trade that one back, but Kazakhstan are going to be okay with 3 FCs at 3 as long as they don't drop too many more misses. And I think you would like to see Roxy on recovery, because Wire Scarlet is back up to 300 combo. Kazakhstan, that's going to be a big miss from Hahahami. And oh, another one from Kopog. Kazakhstan are now down by 2 FCs, and they're going to be quickly falling behind on this one unless we see some quick misses from China. But this is a pretty easy section. China is going to just be able to push the score lead for free. That is an unexpected miss for Shigure on pretty much nothing, and that's going to help Kazakhstan out.
That's going to help them out a lot, but still, the advantages on China's side, both in terms of accuracy and the combo. The only obstacle in their way is damage cut, but once again, we do see Quick White and Wire Scarlet missing, and Roxy also missing. 1 FC against 1. It's Sana versus Emo, and the advantage is slowly going towards the right due to the recoveries from Kazakhstan. There is still a chance halfway into the map now. These combos, they are going to matter a lot. We do see a slider break here from Hahahami on the slider. Not helping the situation, but still the chances are still there. Both of these players, they are the cornerstones on this map. They need to hold.
Yeah, any miss from Emo will likely spell the end of the tournament for Kazakhstan. Remember, this is a losers bracket match, so loser here will be eliminated, and so much pressure, but they do have good recoveries. They are in the driver's seat. If Kazakhstan can hold on their combos, the score lead should flip back over, but That is a big if. This is a tricky ending section where the stamina starts to become slightly more intensive. The streams start to become a little bit longer. It's all going to come down to this last quarter. Keep an eye on Santa, on Emo. The first miss between these two players, it will likely be the decider.
Indeed, here comes the guitar solo. Here comes the most intense section in the map. And so far, both of these players are still there. They're still holding. Shigeru Reno also good on the recovery. Break the silence on the solo, but the combos are still there. It's slowly going towards Kazakhstan. 40,000. It's still going left. PI though, and Emo does find a miss at the very was right there. The finish line was there, but by the looks of it, Kazakhstan are gonna trip right at the very end. Sana Chitose is gonna be their executioner. Still holding to this FC 98.7%. The accuracy is also growing. Finally finding a miss at the very end, but it ultimately doesn't matter. They did so much on this one, and China are gonna be sweeping Kazakhstan in this quarterfinals losers bracket match.
Yeah, really good showing from China. Take the tapping, even found some wins on the hidden tech and the reading nomad as well. So showing some good diversity in this one. I mean, Kazakhstan had some close scores, but ultimately could not keep up. So they will be eliminated from the tournament. And China will be moving on to play the winner of Poland-Singapore, which I believe is coming up next at 15 UTC, so 20 minutes from now.
Yeah, make sure to tune into that one. Nice try from Kazakhstan, and definitely a really good showing for both of these teams. But China was on another level. That sweep 6-0. Sana Chitose so stepping up massively on that later Nomad 2, and showing up massively throughout the match as well. Probably getting the highest match cost in this. And congratulations to them once again, and good luck on their next match in the losers bracket. Casting this one was Leiden and iFlame. Streaming this one was Akvi, and we will see you next time.
Yep, back in 20 minutes with Taiwan, Netherlands. Don't go anywhere.